Crispy, I have some information in front of me that comes the way of a very shocking move from Sony Interactive Entertainment that happened yesterday. Now, the first report came in yesterday, and one of the first people to announce this was Okami13 underscore. And Okami is a phenomenal member of the Twitter community who consistently puts out amazing pieces of information. Him, right along with Genki and Hazardor Gaming, who I mentioned in on the front end of the show, are just phenomenal. Obviously, you have Clobriel, you have something 64. My God, what is his name? You have Shinobi 602. Yeah, again, these are just people that are prominent in the information business when it comes to social media. So, of course, I got to give Okami credit because I pulled his story first. And he basically wrote this: breaking, Herman Hulst will no longer be co-CEO of PlayStation. Hideki Nishiro has been elevated to sole CEO of SIE. Hiroki Totoki will be the CEO of Sony. Hulst is staying on as head of PlayStation Studios and will continue to lead the development, publishing, and business operations for Sony Interactive Entertainment first party and their content, in addition to working with PlayStation Productions. And of course, that is their movie side, their anime and movie side of the PlayStation business. Now, interestingly enough, we do have here from Genki underscore JPN, who again puts out incredible pieces. This one over here has some information regarding Sony's president, Hiroki Totoki. And this is some of the things that Hiroki had to say during their investors call. He says he wants to go aggressive in improving margins by growing first party with multi-platform. And again, this is directly from Hiroki Totoki, and I quote, "In the past, we wanted to popularize console and the first party titles. The main purpose was to make the console popular. It is true, but there is a synergy to it. So if you have a strong first party content, now not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers, very specific there, first party can grow with multi platform and then can help operating profits to improve. So that is another one we want to proactively work on. And he goes on to say, I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margins. So I'd like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance. And again, that is Hiroki Totoki, who is the CEO of Sony. And again, listen, so the question really remains is, was this a demotion for Herman Hulst? And it appears just based on the title. Now, is he gone from the company? No, he's currently still with the company. As we know, I read it to you verbatim. Where he goes from here, whether he sticks around or not, is just that's the story for another podcast. But for right now, he is no longer co-CEO of PlayStation. Let's get your thoughts on the information that I just provided.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Hiroki's like, know your role and shut your mouth. And that's exactly what he did with him. Okay? At the end of the day, Herman's going to be out as quick as Jim very soon. You watch, because he stood on this hill. Give him respect for that. But I'm going to tell you right now, his hill is crumbling because they have nothing first party. They will money hat you till no end. They will. I mean, hey, I want to go buy Doom on freaking PlayStation, $70. Oh, I could play it on Game Pass on Xbox. They know they have a problem, people. They know they do. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is kind of ironic that after Phil got all this heat, 48 hours ago, that 24 hours later, well, it don't look so bad, does it? Think about it. Okay? Xbox is providing you games. You got Indiana Jones coming. Look at that. Huh? Oh, you want to pay $7? Oh, that's fine. Xbox got no problem with it. So that's what they realized in this past week. Oh, crap. We don't have anything. We canceled games. Maybe it was Herman. Maybe Herman said, we got to cancel these gas games. Maybe that was the fact that happened. I don't know. None of us will know. But I'm going to tell you right now, this smells like when Jim Ryan got his cookie. That's what I'm going to tell you. And it's disrespectful because at the end of the day, you know what? Maybe let the guy talk and maybe let him say what he has to say. I mean, I see all these people, exclusives. Okay, maybe he was that dude. Maybe he's gone. I mean, we watched Sean Layden. He disappeared, right? You know what I mean? He's working for Tencent now. You know what I mean? What does he have to say more than, actually hurting PlayStation more than helping them? I mean, seriously, like when you watch something crumble and you've played on that specific platform for years, you get to the point where it's like, I told you so, and I want to lift you up and say, okay, we can make this better. Y'all, the stands really mess with me. And I know, Boom, you don't quite understand that, but it's disrespectful. It's unacceptable. Read the tea leaves. Understand that their stock price is not good. This was a stock hold. Let's keep the stock price the same. They fired everybody because they had no choice. And they put somebody that is willing to play ball with all their companies in the hot seat and said, okay, you do it now. And that's where I say, you know what? I respect it because it's logical, but also I'm like, okay, like you're just throwing this dude to the curb. And trust me, in the next 6 months, he's going to be gone. I feel it in my bones. It feels like it feels wary and weird, but I seen this with Jim and we talked about this. So I say, I don't know, man. Like, you got to realize that they don't know what they're doing anymore. And once you accept that, you got to tell them to just get weird. Okay? Because Xbox is getting weird right now. I mean, me playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black and it's on Game Pass, I would never tried it if it wasn't. I'm going to tell you right now, get weird. Okay? They need to get weird. I don't want Sony to go anywhere, but seriously, like they are on the edge of the hill and they're looking down and they're like, I might have to jump. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. And they need to go, like, bring Twisted Metal back, bring SOCOM back. Let's go, get your stuff together. Let's be logical and say, okay, we can remake a game that is older, like actually older, not 2, 3, 4 years older. Like I'm talking 10 years older. You can do it. Pick yourself up by the boots and say, okay, we can do this. But that's up to them, not me.
I mean, it's a great point all around. Look, PlayStation isn't going anywhere. Right now, they are in a bit of a tailspin and they're restructuring. They are trying to find their way. They're going to get back to making first-party, single-player, story-driven games. I don't know how long that is going to be. I don't know how long it's going to be before you get day and date. Does that happen this year? I'm not sure. They haven't made mention of it. I think Ghost of Yotai is the first one. I really, really believe that game, it sold really well. Ghost of Tsushima is my God, what an amazing game. It's so much so that I platinumed it. And I don't have a lot of platinum. That game was brilliant. And I believe Ghost of Yotai is going to be just as good. And I personally don't care that there's a female protagonist. I could care less. I was hoping to continue Jin's story, but this is apparently takes place hundreds of years forward. I don't care. It's going to be a gorgeous looking game, but I bet you that's the first one because that will also sell like gangbusters on PC if they do the dual release, which I think is going to happen sooner or later. I mean, folks, look, they need to make money, and this is the way you make money. Now, again, I don't know how far into the future it goes before you see Xbox games, but I believe that is going to happen. As a matter of fact, we covered it just the other day, Hargeet. I don't know if you're there, where the CEO of Moon Studios believes, and again, this is just one man's opinion, that Sony is going to follow suit with what Xbox is doing. And again, I really think that is how many years it's going to take to get there because they're so slow moving. I just think that money does talk. And I think when you're Sony and you have all of these canceled games, you have to make that money back up. This is millions upon millions of dollars that were in development, and you just canceled the games. That's it. That's it. No money, And yes, they did make a lot of money with Helldivers specifically, but I think really that does focus on why you need day and date releases. Let's talk about the potential demotion of Herman Hulst, and Crispy seems to think that the writing is on the wall for him the same way it was for Jim Ryan. I don't know if that in fact is the case. He has been given lesser power. Now, why is that? Is any of the happenings right now his actual fault, or did he inherit some of this from Jim Ryan before Jim was sent packing? I honestly don't know. But where I think he finds himself in a bit of a pickle is you got to remember how, first of all, he continues to push the Horizon thing. And that's his baby. That's the studio where he came from. That's his thing. And I like the first Horizon. I didn't care for the second one. And I bet you the Lego Horizon is pretty fun if you're a Lego fan. And I am. So if that comes to Xbox, they're going to get my money. I'm going to buy it.
It was no good.
What's that?
It was no good. It was no good.
Okay, well, there you go.
It doesn't do any of the fun Lego things. It doesn't do any of those things. So
okay, well, listen,
sad,
I'm probably still going to buy it anyway. We will see. But again, I have every Lego game on Xbox. Every one of them, I own them all. I like Legos, and I play them. I play the games with Tyler, so we'll probably co-op it and have some fun. But I want to get your thoughts on some of the things Hiroki Totoki had to say during the investment call, and more importantly, what happened to Herman Hulst, because remember, he was co-CEO. He's not anymore. We've talked about this. We all came to an agreement. I would say sometime in the middle of last year, Hargeet, that we believed that Sony was going to go back to being an all Japanese run company. We all thought it just based on some of the moves that they made, some of the people they got rid of, and now you're starting to see them shed the skin of a lot of OGs, right? Like Ted Price is going, and I think that, listen, I'm sure Ted Price is going to leave the company in good standing. Whoever's going to take over for him is probably somebody that worked with him for years, but he's retiring. Shuhei, gem of the industry, he's out. He didn't retire. He just left PlayStation, and he's going to be doing some other things. And you've seen this decline. Now, interestingly enough, Clute, on Twitter, and this is just some food for thought. You know how many people in the last Hargeet, 5 or 6 years have been saying fire Phil Spencer, get Phil out of there. He's a blight on gaming. Well, Clute, which is Abdel114 in the chat, and he consistently does great work on social media as well. He put out a side-by-side comparison of CEOs, and this, folks, this is wonderful food for thought. To go to show you about how everyone's been calling for Phil's job, and Phil continues to just keep dominating his position. Well, he got the position in 2014. So from 2014 to 2025, Phil Spencer has been the Xbox CEO, and he's gotten he's gotten boosts in his career. Now he is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, not Xbox Gaming, Microsoft Gaming. Well, in the past 10 years for PlayStation, they've had Jack Tretton, Sean Layden, Jim Ryan, Herman Hulst, and now Hideki Nishiro. So, I mean, again, it's just food for thought when you put it into perspective like that. How many CEOs PlayStation has had, and they've been shuffled in the last decade, where Phil Spencer, the one that everyone wanted his job, has been in as the captain. Again, no console war, just food for thought. But I do want to get your thought on the newest addition to PlayStation CEO in the form of Hideki Nishiro. And what do you think ultimately happens to Herman Hulst?
Yeah, lots there. So look, Sony itself did a restructure. Hiroki was kind of playing that CEO kind of head of the SIE role, and he had these two co-CEOs underneath him, whatever that means. Okay, so whatever that structure meant. Now he's going to kind of take over more of the role of Sony's head. The chairman is still going to be is it Yoshida? Is that the name? The guy who was kind of doing the CEO role, but he's now stepping up a level and just staying there. He had that role as well. And he's letting most of the operations be handled by Hiroki, the finance person from SIE.
Hideki Nishiro is the new CEO.
No, the one that was the CEO of Sony.
Oh,
Sony. I think
yes,
it was Yoshida. I think it was his name. I think it said something like that. I think his name was Yoshida, something like that. He's going to stay on as chairman. He's handing off the Sony reins to Hiroki. Hiroki then can't be dealing with SIE. He's bumping up a level, right? And he brought the finance person from SIE up to what he was, right? So that kind of happened. And then I guess they saw where things are going with Herman. It didn't seem to work out having two CEO co-chairs, and he's now under Nishino, who's running the full thing, which was always going to be the case. I think they were both kind of on probation, as it were, to say, all right, which one of you is going to win the seat? And Nishino won. Look, the performance, you look at the quote behind me here. This is just, you can't fail that miserably. Like, the game that he went to bat for, you could say this is Jim Ryan's era, but no, he's the one who went to bat for this. And it ended up with the fail that is Concord. And that somebody's going to take that hit. There's just no way around that. They closed the studio, but I'm sorry, it's somebody at the upper management level is going to take the hit. And this is the hit. He's still there. I'll tell you the corporate politics of it. Usually when this kind of thing happens, you've been put aside for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's get the F out. You're basically being told, hey, you're here to have a paycheck until you go find something else. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I've been through a couple of these. This is usually what it means. If you've been put aside like this, you notice, a Shuhei left. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. You eventually just get the hint that, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. And you get out. Okay. And I don't know what's going to happen to him. If it was me, I don't know how you could continue with it. How many games do they have to cancel before you say, I'm sorry, head of studios is you, right? You're the one doing all these games and you wasted how much and you have nothing to show for it? Yeah. The two games you showed, one of them looks okay. The other one's mired in controversy and has a higher dislike than like ratio on the video. Yeah, that's not looking good. So, gee willikers, what am I supposed to take from this? So, at some point, I just have to imagine that he's not going to be there too much longer. Yeah. That's just me, but you don't do these kind of things unless there's stuff happening, right? And usually corporate politics, this is you're being sidestepped and you need to find something new. But hey, maybe they're totally happy with him. Maybe they are. I just don't think that's the case. You don't make somebody a CEO and then say, well, today you're not a CEO. We're bumping you down. That usually means they're not happy with what you're doing. So that's kind of the way it is. Unfortunately, it ends for him. You could say, hey, some of this is Jim Ryan. He's head of studios. He's been head of studios. Even under Jim Ryan, he was head of studios. So I got to give some of the blame to him. Right? At some point, you have to, you're the head of this, right? We were all ready to say, Matt Booty, what are you doing? Where are the games? I went up to him first time I'm talking to him. Like, cool, that was nice, but where are the games for this year? This was 2022. Like, where are the games? Right? You got to give them the smoke. Fair enough, right? But Matt Booty has turned it around. They are running phenomenally well. We have more games than I can even count. It's ridiculous, right? Fine. That's good. He did his job. How many games did Xbox cancel? How many games have they canceled at PlayStation? How much money have they lost? Has anything ever topped this ever in the history of gaming?
You know,
like this funny? Is ludicrous.
Think about this for a second. They brought Platinum Games back into the fold after Scalebound.
Yep.
And that
I think that is a chess move, but they got rid of, like, eventually Platinum Games got rid of the dude that pissed them off. Okay, I don't remember his name, but he was a nasty human being. Okay, like that's the way I look at it. And I say, okay, why did Phil do this? Why did he do this? Oh, wait. Now I'm playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and it's remastered in UE5. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. This is an old game I never played. This is when Gears 2 came out. Like, holy crap. It is freaking amazing. And yeah, like, I messaged Boom and I was like, dude, like, I feel like I'm fighting a Brumac right now that doesn't have any armor. Like, and I'm like, what's going on here? But at the same time, I'm like, I never experienced this. And that's where I say, like, I think Phil's just playing a different game. He's just like, you know what? I enjoyed this game. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of those, he's a gamer, man. And I think, you know, like, all these dudes, they could talk all that, you know, say, hey, we're financials and all this stuff, firing people and all this. And Phil's just sitting here like, dude, I'm a gamer, and I respect gamers, and I understand that, you know, not everything's going to hit hard or not. And I feel like when Indiana Jones comes out on PlayStation and Doom: The Dark Ages, I think people are going to recognize.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
You know where I think this runs into an issue, though. You know you have the graphic behind you, which is hilarious, but this is I think a comment that's going to live in infamy for him, for Herman Hulst. He literally said, someone said, I think it was Spartan 27 that said that, where he said that Concord is so important that it's PlayStation Star Wars. And, you know, when you make bold commentary like that, and then you have the biggest flop, and Hargeet consistently drives that point home for a reason, folks, it is the biggest flop in gaming history, and I've been gaming since 78.
We can still play Redfall, by the way.
Yeah, you can still play Redfall.
You can still play Bleeding Edge, which was a colossal fail. But who cares? Yeah. Game's still there. Studio's still there.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's sad. But please continue your point on Herman.
Yeah, look. So I just think Herman's days are not. This is just my opinion. He may still be there for years to come, but I think the blame game in the usual way, when you lose billions, this is what happens, right? So, and I'm talking about Bungie fails all the way through. Concord failed. All these cancellations that cost money to do all that development work went nowhere. You're talking tons of money. It's got to be in the billions. Somebody has to pay for that. That's just the way it goes. And so somebody's chair is going to get lost. And I have to guess it will be him. Right? I don't know if they did that with Jim, if that's how he left. But yeah, I mean, somebody's going to get blamed. I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes. Even since Jim Ryan left, they have canceled so many games. They have, like, the sales numbers for Lego Horizon. Come on. Yeah. So, his property is not doing well, but he says it's the biggest IP there, right? That it would overtake Horizon as PlayStation's most important franchise of all time. Of all time? Really? Of all time? Really? Okay, fine. You really think nothing else in PlayStation ever mattered Yeah, well, okay, fine, but whatever. But hey, there you go. Right, this is who he is, and if this is where his mind's at, I don't know how that gets better. Right, so they need somebody to come in that like understands what gamers want and gives you shows like we're getting. Okay, where's the enthusiasm? Are you telling me that PlayStation players are sitting there going, "Oh hell yeah, look at these freaking shows we get, and I'm so excited"? Who is excited? Who is excited? Tell me it's anything like what we're getting. We get a June showcase, crazy. That Dev Direct was unbelievable. We're gonna get more shows like that. That's where we are. We just get show after show of bangers. What are you getting over there? All right, if that's where you want to be, I don't think that's going to keep working. And I think that's going to cause them problems. I think they see it. I think they want those margins just like Xbox is getting now. Like, yeah, we have Call of Duty. Ha, 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 ha. You paid us hundreds of millions. Ha, 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 ha. Guess what? That's just going to happen, right? That's what's going to keep happening. You're going to pay us, and you're going to live off of us now. Have a nice day. And I think Hiroki wants to do that on his own games. And he's trying to see what they can do to leverage their IP. That's been their push. Still haven't talked about games at that level, but they have concerts at least. Enjoy those concerts.
And they have a car also. they have
well, at least the car is a totally different business, right?
Car's
That's
still
cool
around.
that they're venturing that. Yep. They actually showed it at CES.
Yep.
So they have something going there. Fine. That's a totally different business, and good luck to them. But as far as like the entertainment arena, they're not doing well in movies. I don't know how they're doing in music.
TV, they're
tried
doing
to buy. They tried to do. They tried to buy. What was that? The From Software team. What was that company? Karakawa, and failed miserably. They entered into a partnership, and we'll see how that goes out. But they still haven't really talked about games. That's where they need to go. They need to tell us about games. Hopefully, they do have some sort of state of play, or heaven forbid, a showcase. Like a showcase, is that a possibility, Sony? We could have a showcase.
It's unlikely.
Games.
Oh, yeah, it's unlikely because this is a massive pivot for them. And look, folks, I don't think that we're piling on the rabbit here to be rude. They made a massive pivot. They went from single player story driven games that they are known for. That is their bread and butter. That is what PlayStation is. That is at least what PlayStation is for me, right? These amazing movie quality like titles. Now, granted, the mileage is going to vary for everybody. You may not like them. You might think they look very samey. If you all put them next to each other, I've seen people do that. I get it if you don't like that, but I actually really dig that. Like I don't know if I'm ever going to get another Uncharted. I know we're getting another God of War, but see, here's the question, and here's the problem with that. Yes, Kratos is going to move into Egypt, which I think is dope. People have been calling for that after the Norse mythology. They went, obviously he slaughtered all the Greek gods. He did what he did in Norse mythology. Now he's moving to Egypt. I think that's freaking awesome. But the problem is this. When does that game actually launch? Is it 3 years from now? Is it a launch title for the PlayStation 6? Maybe. But that's not coming this year. It's not coming next year. And it may not even come in 2027.
It's 22, right? Is that when they released Ragnarok?
Yeah, 22 I think
right?
so. Yeah. So
okay.
But the
5
problem,
years. 27.
The problem is that, first of all, Corey Barlog is working on something. And I don't think it is God of War. There was a rumor for a while that he was working on something space game related. But then again, we saw Intergalactic, and I don't know if that was somehow blurred, and that was Naughty Dog working on Intergalactic, which looks really dope, by the way, as well. But the problem for Sony's first-party studios is they have now pivoted 3 times, right? Multiple times to go from one direction to another, back to the original direction. And that's ultimately going not only cost them millions of dollars in development dollars that they're not going to make it back. That's wasted money. Now they have to figure out how to speed up the process of getting games day and date. And look, the truth is the Xbox day and date, I don't know. I don't see it happening at least for another couple of years because they don't have the development studios to do that. But the PC ones, I definitely think that they're going to be putting PC. I don't know if you heard me before. I think that the next Ghost of Yotai, I think is PC day and date. I really
think
do.
so?
I
That'd be pretty cool.
do. It would be great because a lot of people would buy it on PC.